Hello everyone, my name is Francoise Untermeyer and I'm a 6-star director with the company 3 International. And today we have a special guest, Dr. Dan Gubler, which is the Chief Scientific Advisor of 3. So welcome Dan, thank you so much for coming from all the way Salt Lake City, Utah, here to the beautiful state of sunny Sunshine, Florida.
Thanks, Francoise. So happy and excited to be here with you.
Yeah, we're so happy to have him today. And so let's just go ahead and get right into it. You know, 3 has launched in February of 2023, and it was, so disruptive in the marketplace. We have done amazing things, a lot of credibility in the marketplace, and we've gone really fast. Our first year, we got 60 million in revenue, and then our second year, about 160 million in revenue. So we have done, groundbreaking things. And today we're really just going to focus on the science, because I really believe that's what has made us go so fast. So if we would, can we just start off, Dr. Dan, by maybe telling us a little bit about your background and your expertise?
Yeah, so I'm a chemist. I'm an organic chemist, which basically means I study natural molecules from plants. Mm-hmm. So I eat, I drink, I sleep, I breathe science. I study molecules from all over the world and put them into our amazing products to support and promote human health.
Awesome. Yeah. So obviously there are a lot of supplements out there. And, I think you had mentioned the other day, how many supplements were on Amazon?
There's about 120,000 brands selling products on Amazon.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. So what really makes us different, right? What does 3 have that is different than anyone else?
So we're different in 3 regards. Number 1, we study and explore and discover new molecules from plants. So that's our exploration piece. So when you have new molecules that no one else has, it makes sense you could then do things that no other company can. So we explore, we discover new molecules. Number 2, we put them into our formulas in a curation process. You go to the store and there's so many supplements. There's hundreds of them there. And so how do you choose? We made it easy, where instead of buying 30, 40, 50 different supplements and having your cabinet full and falling out with all these bottles, we make it easy. You take our 6 nutritional products and you get everything the body needs for human health. So that's curation. And then the third is absorption. We use 12 different cellular absorption technologies to make sure that all the powerful natural molecules in our products get into the cell.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, that's definitely different, right, than what's out there.
Yeah, no other company does this. These 3 pillars, tenets of our brand, no other science company does that at all.
That's awesome. So, when we're looking at the cellular absorption technology, can you explain that a little bit and why that gives us such good results compared to others?
First of all, natural molecules from plants are called organic compounds. They don't like water. They're afraid of water. Like oil and water, you pour the 2 on top and they don't mix, they separate. Mm-hmm. These molecules don't like water. It makes sense, right? When you have molecules in a plant and when it rains, the plant doesn't dissolve or anything like that, right? And so these molecules don't like water. And that's a problem because the body is 60% water or more. Mm-hmm. And so if you want these natural molecules to get into the cell, then you need to do some tricky things. And so we have different cellular absorption technologies, micelles, liposomes, yeast glycoprotein. We won't go into all the details, but we use these 12 different technologies and people say, well, why 12? Why not just 1, right? One size fits all. Well, it doesn't, because you have some molecules that are too big, some molecules are small. So we use different technologies to cater to the different characteristics of those molecules to make sure that they get into the cell.
So can one product have more than one delivery?
Absolutely. Some of our products have 2, 3, 4 different delivery systems depending on the different molecules.
So there's a lot of companies out there, right? And some claim to have like liposomal delivery because that's been around for a very long time, right? And so, is there a certain thing that we do differently? Like, is it a pure process? Do we use high pressure, temperature, heat? Because I think that you could take our products to a lab, right? And obviously with the cellular absorption technology, that what we say we have is what we have. Yep. But other companies can make claims and no absorption technologies, right?
That's right. Companies say our products are highly absorbable. Well, what does that mean? And if you don't have scientific data, then, people could say whatever they want. And people do say whatever they want in the supplement industry, right? The FDA, when you say something, they don't say, hey, where's your studies? Mm-hmm. With liposomes, like you mentioned, we use liposomes in our formula. But back to what we were saying, liposomes are not one size fits all, because liposomes, there's some molecules that are too big. They can't fit into the liposomes. And some molecules are so small that they leak out of liposomes. So liposomes are good for certain molecules and certain things, and that's why we need a lot of different approaches. And when it comes to absorption, we don't just say our products are absorbed, we show the clinical data. We ran a clinical study. It's called a KEICO-2 assay for the science geeks out there. We ran.
Wait, what was that again?
Yeah, KEICO-2. You can look it up. We ran this, and that's actually in pharmaceuticals. When they look at the absorbability of drugs, that's what they do. They do a KEICO-2 assay. And when we ran this absorption study, we found that our products are anywhere from 3 to 9.5 times more absorbable than the normal supplement that you would just grab off the shelf.
Wow, well, that's awesome. So we have a cellular absorption study, and that's what you're referring to, yes?
Yes.
And then for those of you who don't know, we are in the epigenetic space, which is really cool, very disruptive. So maybe let's share a little bit about what that is, why that's important, why we are, I think, at the forefront of what other people aren't doing.
Yeah, so epigenetics, the way to think about it, we start with genes. And I think most of us understand from our biology class way back when, a gene is a part of DNA that makes a protein that's vital for the body. We have 25,000 genes in the body. And you could think of them like switches. Like in this beautiful home, you have a bunch of different switches that turn on and off different lights and TVs and other things like that. Well, what happens is due to lifestyle factors like pollution, stress, anxiety, poor diet, soil depletion, and others, these genes, these switches in the body can become stuck in either the on or the off position. And think about if you have a switch in your home that powers your master bedroom light, for instance. If that can't go off, that's disruptive, right? You can't sleep. And so what happens is some of these switches in our body get stuck in the on or off position. And what we found is that natural molecules from plants can actually fix those switches and make them function again. Yeah, we ran a clinical study. It was just published in a peer-reviewed journal showing that our products do that. Yeah.
Now, peer-reviewed journals, maybe people don't even know the posture that gives us in the marketplace. Maybe talk about that.
Yeah, so when it comes to publishing science, the way it works is when you discover something new, you publish it in a journal. And what you do is you write up the study, you write up all this experimental data, and then you submit it to a journal. And most journals have what we call peer review, where when you send it to that journal, the editor of the journal sends it to 2 or 3 experts in that field. And they look at the data. They look at how you did the experiment. They look at the results. And sometimes they'll be like, no, this is not good. And they'll actually reject it. And they'll say, well, you're on the right track, but you need to add more data, this or this or this, do other experiments. And it's really cool with this study. We sent it and 3 different reviewers reviewed our study. They looked at the epigenetic data. They looked at what we did and they said, yeah, this is actually legit science. And so they accepted it for publication in this journal.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, because I think some companies do third-party testing, which is great. But when you have outside third-party testing and layers and layers and layers, we're in the PDR too, which is a huge deal. We have had thousands of doctors join our organization because of the science. So maybe let's talk about the PDR and why that's valuable. And there is some, there's rumors out there you can buy your way into that. So I would love for you to address that.
Yeah, so the PDR stands for Prescriber's Digital Reference. It used to be called the Physician's Desk Reference when it was hard copy. It used to be this huge book.
I know, it looked like a dictionary.
Yeah, exactly. I have a couple in my office, and I hold on to them.
I know, right?
Okay. Anyways, but with the digital age, they took it all digital. And so it's called the Prescriber's Digital Reference. And it's a reference for medical doctors and other medical professionals. When you go and see the doctor and you take your child in and the nurse comes in and they take your vitals and then the doctor comes in and they talk with you for a little bit and then they leave for a few minutes. Well, when they leave, what they're doing is they're looking at the PDR and other databases to help them to figure out how to best meet the needs and take care of their patient. And so one of those that they look at is the PDR. And so it's really cool. There's only about 17 supplement companies that have one product in the PDR. All 6 of our nutritional products are in the PDR, and there's no other company that has all their products in the PDR. And so it's really cool that when a medical doctor is looking for something to support a healthy inflammatory status in the body, our Revive product shows up. When they're looking for something to support foundational health for an individual, our Vitalite product shows up. And then about, can you buy your way into the PDR? I don't know the exact number, but there's thousands of supplement companies around the world. Right. And if you could just buy your way into the PDR, it doesn't make sense that there'd only be about 17 companies in the PDR. Right. There would be thousands of companies so diluted, in the PDR. And so to get into the PDR, you have to show scientific studies. You have to show that your product fills a unique need state for the medical professional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned a couple of our products. So some of the people who might be watching today, you know, we have 6 different supplements lines or categories. We just briefly talk about each of those and like what you would say would be our focus on them?
Absolutely. So when we started this company, we took a step back and we thought to ourselves, what are the major need states of the body? For the body to be proactively healthy in a preventative well care standpoint, what does the body need? And so we need to support a healthy inflammatory status in the body. And that's where our Revive product comes in, like I talked about. We need foundational health to make sure the body has all the nutrients it needs. That's where our product called Vitalite comes in. We want to make sure that the skin is vibrant and healthy. A beauty from within product. That's where our collagen product comes in. Then we want to support healthy aging in the body. That's where our Eternel product comes in. And then we want to make sure that the body is constantly getting rid of toxins that's constantly being introduced to the body. That's where our Purify product comes in. And then last but certainly not least, we want to support a healthy immune system. Yes. And that's where our Immune product comes in. So those are our 6 products. And when you think about it, support inflammation, foundational health, detox, etc. This really is a comprehensive solution for health.
Mm-hmm. And they can all be used together, right?
Absolutely. They were designed to be used together. So we really encourage people very strongly that they should use all 6 of our products because they were designed to dovetail nicely together.
Yeah, and the way I always say it, my husband always laughs and tries to repeat it, but he never does it right. I say it's like a skincare line, right? You can just use the toner, but you get better results when you use the whole system, right?
Well said.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
So, okay, so obviously these products, you know, are hitting billion-dollar categories, things that people are really looking for. It has something very disruptive, which is cellular absorption technology. But what I have seen is people that don't understand, even if you do share about the cellular absorption technology and the higher absorption levels that it gets into your body, when they look at the actual label and they see the dosage, they're like, you're underdosing, like this isn't enough. And so I think that's such a misconception of what we do. And how do we tell people and educate? And I would like to explain it first, but you know, what would be a good way that we can help educate people and help them understand in a simple, you know, like layman's terms, you know, listen, the dose is going to be different, right, than what you normally see because we have more absorption. We're not wasting a lot of it.
Yeah, a couple of things. In the supplement industry, it's really weird. There's this arms race that's going on, and I don't understand it. You know, if 100 milligrams is good, then 200 must be better. Right. And then another company, well, if they have 200, we're going to do 500 or 2,000 milligrams. And that's just ludicrous. More is not always better.
Right.
When you give a nutrient to the body, there's always this point where the effectiveness goes up and up and up and up, and then it peaks. And if you keep adding more, it goes down, even to the point that it might be dangerous to the body. And so what we do, the dosage that we use, is bona fide in the peer-reviewed scientific literature. We don't use more, we don't use less. And the other point that you mentioned, which is well spoken, is because of our absorption technologies, where we have 3 to 9.5 times more absorption, sometimes we don't even need to use the amount in the literature because we back calculate with absorption. And so we do all the crazy math and science and whatnot to make sure that your body gets everything that it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Because when you add too much of a good thing, it's still enough. You know, water, the universal solvent of life for our bodies. You can could drink too much water to the point that it's not healthy for you.
Right, yeah. So, okay. So, you know, when people are taking these supplements and they're like, okay, well, what if I take these supplements and I have too much? Does our body just excrete it? What does it do? Just waste it? It just removes everything we don't need?
Yeah, so when you take too much, the body's smart and it usually just removes it out of the body. And that's good, and that's helpful, and that's what it does. But if you take too much over a long period of time, chronically, it can be harmful to the body. And so that's why everything that we have in our products are designed at the exact right amount. So when you take our products, you get everything that you need. And you don't need to take more, right? Some people are like, well, if one's good, two must be better. And if two's good, four. No, you take it at the amount that we say on the label, because that's the amount that we've scientifically verified and validated that's good for the body.
That's awesome. Well, I think a lot of people too that are, venturing from more of the Western medicine to more of the holistic naturopathic approach, which I feel like we're in, right?
Yes.
Plant-based whole food nutrition. One of the main questions I get is this FDA approved, and it's just like, so trying to explain that to somebody sometimes and understanding that, I think it would be just great for us to address the FDA, what type of approval we have, and, where we lie in the nutraceutical space.
So the FDA does not approve nutritional supplements at all. When you make a supplement, what you should do, and a lot of companies don't do this, but we do, you submit all the documentation to the FDA. You submit the formula, the safety data, what it does, how it works, papers, patents, you submit that to the FDA. But the FDA usually doesn't ever look at that. The only reason they look at that is if there's a problem.
Right.
If a supplement is being sold and there, people are having these crazy reactions or problems, then they'll look and they'll dig into that. So the FDA doesn't oversee supplements. They do pharmaceuticals, they require clinical studies and whatnot. But what we do with our certifications, and we run clinical studies, we have patents, we basically follow the rigor of pharmaceutical science in the nutraceutical space.
Yeah, and you mentioned patents. I think it would be good to talk about as well. Like obviously, we have some secret sauce and we don't want everybody to know about it. A lot of times, people ask, are they patented? Are they trade secreted? Do you have proprietary blends? So we have all of those, yes?
We do.
Yeah. And so maybe just talk about what those mean and why we hold all our cards to our chest, right?
Yeah. So this falls under the umbrella of intellectual property. And intellectual property is what a company needs in order to be competitive. We talked about how our company is different from every other company out there. And we are. But if we basically handed out our secret sauce, it's like Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah,
Coca-Cola does not patent their drinks.
Really?
No.
Why?
Because this unique mixture that makes a Coke a Coke is a trade secret. And they don't give it out to anybody.
Okay.
Other bottlers and whatnot, they just send them the proprietary syrup. And then they dilute it up with water, and that's how you get the drink.
I see.
And so
trade secret is the actual, the most closed.
Yes. So when something is a trade secret, like Coca-Cola or Doritos, the spice that Doritos use for their chips that make it just amazingly delicious, that's a trade secret again. They don't disclose
So nobody would ever see that. And then a proprietary blend, how is that different from a trade secret?
So they're pretty similar. The proprietary blend is basically what the trade secret looks like on the label of a supplement.
Okay.
And then a patent is something that you've discovered, you've explored, and a patent, you do actually disclose everything that you've done. So you say, okay, we did this, we mixed this together and this together and this together. You explain exactly how it's done, and that's published. So other people can look at that and they can read that and they can go through it. And if they try to copy it, then obviously you enforce your patent and you litigate and whatnot. And so there's different areas when it comes to nutritional supplements that are useful. So we do have patents. We have a patent pending on our neurocosmetic technology in our skincare line. And again, we've written everything out. These are the molecules that cause a neurocosmetic effect. And the reason why we did that is because this is a brand new technology that no one else has in the world. It's just so different, so crazy, so out there.
Right.
And so in that case, it makes sense to patent it. When you're using ingredients that other people have in their supplements, like quercetin or CoQ10,
right.
Our quercetin, our CoQ10 is different than the molecular composition that other companies are using. But since it's so close, it's really hard and it doesn't make a lot of sense from an intellectual property standpoint to patent that. And so what we do instead is we go the trade secret route. And we trade secret proprietary blends, we put those in our products. Now, a lot of people say, well, if it's a proprietary blend, that means that you're deceiving the people, or you're adding in foo-foo dust or stuff like that, and you don't have the right amount in. Well, that's not the case. The reason why we use proprietary blends is we don't want people to know the actual molecular composition that we're using that makes our products so special, so unique, so powerful.
That's so good. All right. So we were talking about, all our different products and why we're so special, absorption. I always hear you say bioactive molecules, right? And
Yes.
so there's a reason why you say that. Is there can you just explain that, why you always say bioactive? Because people talk about molecules, but bioactive is something different, right?
That's right. So exactly. So a molecule is when you put two atoms together.
Do you see how he lights up when you say bioactive molecules?
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
This is great.
That's right. When you put two atoms together, two atoms or more, that's a molecule. And the body is molecular. The body contains 1 octillion molecules. That's a 1 with 36 zeros.
Okay, right?
Yeah. And in Mother Nature, you look at the plants around us, these plants contain molecules. So there are literally millions and millions of molecules. And some molecules are better than the others. Some molecules will kill you, right? And some molecules don't really add a benefit.
Don't put those in our products.
Yeah, no. Some molecules don't add a benefit one way or the other. And other molecules are what we call bioactive molecules, because these beautiful, powerful molecules cause a beneficial response in the body.
And so, just to get the best quality bioactive molecules, we have a medical research institute over in northern Thailand.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so this is called the 3 Medicinal Plant Research Institute.
Okay.
It's in northern Thailand, in a location close to Chiang Rai, up in that area. So that's where Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos come together, and it's a beautiful place. It's by the Mekong River, which is fertile with bioactive molecules itself. The area that we grow our plants on, it's been organic for over 100 years,
Wow.
Several generations, and the air is clean and pure, the water's pure. And so when we're doing research, we want to find just a beautiful place where all the other variables that might confound and confuse the study, those are gone. And so what we do at this place is we plant many different plants. We have 80 that we're growing there right now.
Wow,
And
I heard 50 a while ago.
Yeah,
so
we continue to
up.
plant more. Yeah, and I'm
Wow.
going there actually next week. And we're
that's
going
awesome.
to plant some more.
Oh, great.
And so basically what we do is we grab plants from all around the world and Southeast Asia, and we grow them in those conditions. We analyze the bioactive organic molecules that are in that plant. We discover new molecules in those plants. And then we use those discoveries and that technology, and we put those into our formulations. And that's really what gives them the secret sauce that powers our products. And that's why people are seeing amazing results.
Awesome. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. So we have a lot of athletes on our team, and I know that we have been approved for the NSF.
Yes.
Right? So can you tell me a little bit about that and what that means?
Yeah, so National Science Foundation is a certifying body where they come in and they look at the manufacturing facility, where you're making your products, they look at what you do, what you're adding, what you're not adding, and they make sure that these products are made to a high level. Other certification related to that is CGMP, which stands for Current Good Manufacturing Practices.
And that's enforced by the FDA as well?
That's right, yep. So the FDA just basically wants to make sure that when supplement companies are making a product, that it's not going to harm anybody.
Yeah, makes sense.
But that's a really low bar, right?
Right.
What we do is we have certifications and standardizations, and the way we make our products are way above and beyond CGMP. Because, just not hurting people, it's like doy.
Well, who would make a product with
Right,
that?
but we want to make sure that our products are full of amazing, powerful molecules. And to make sure that a product has hundreds of powerful molecules, that takes a special type of manufacturing. That takes some unique, interesting technology in order to make sure that these products are full of powerful molecules.
So are there any certifications or anything like that I'm not maybe asking you about that it would be valuable to know?
So our products are made at organic certified facilities, kosher, halal, those types of certifications. Like you mentioned, NSF, CGMP. But the most important one is actually the PDR. We're going back to the PDR.
Yeah.
So when you submit your documentation to the PDR, they actually look at where it's made as well. And that's a big deal. And so one of the reasons why a lot of companies can't get into the PDR is because of the certifications that they don't have. But the thing about certifications, sometimes you can buy certifications. So you need to be careful because you can pay $5,000, $10,000 and you can get this certification. You could slap it on your box. But as far as efficacy and safety and power, it really doesn't mean a lot.
So all of our products are made in Salt Lake City, Utah, right?
We make products
them.
we manufacture products in Utah, and then we manufacture some of our products in Texas.
Texas, okay.
And you can find all of our certifications. That's one thing that's really powerful about our company is transparency. Our CEO and founder, Daniel Piku, he decided that he didn't want any secrets. And so in that regard, he release the certifications of our manufacturing partners and where they're made, and so you can actually know where our products are made.
So when people ask me, are they plant to package made in the US, how would you respond to that?
So all of our products are formulated, developed, manufactured in the United States. When it comes about from source material, I think it's really funny when people are saying everything, all the plants are in the United States. And I think to myself, well, that's kind of weird because some plants don't grow in the United States, right?
Right.
Boswellia, Indian frankincense that we have in our Revive product, that doesn't grow in the United States at all with powerful bioactive molecules.
And you've explored with Dr. Dan, you're all over the world.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the interesting things about plants and the molecules that are in plants, a lot of times the reason why it has those powerful molecules is because of the area of the world in which it's grown. The soil is unique in that area. The humidity, the temperature, the molecules that are floating in the air are unique. And all of those come together to make sure that that plant has those powerful bioactive molecules. And so if I take a plant that was grown in India and I pluck it out, and I grow it in Wisconsin, or something like that, a lot of the bioactive molecules are gone because we've pulled it out of its native environment.
Right.
So what we do is all the plant material that we use, we collect from its native, natural, powerful environment. And that's why it has these amazing molecules.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, we're obviously a new company, and people sometimes ask about clinical trials.
Yes.
And I know that they're very expensive to do, and they take a lot of time. Are we as a company looking at clinical trials anytime in the near future? Is that something that is valuable to you? And what's your stance on that?
Absolutely. So we have 2 clinical trials that we've already done that we talked about. We have our absorption clinical study. We have our epigenetic clinical study. And again, no other company has shown that their products help to regulate epigenetics. So that's powerful. And yes, we do have a lot of other clinical studies that we're in the process of running. We have a clinical study on Revive, where we showed the mechanism or the pathway by which Revive supports a healthy inflammatory status.
And I'm sorry, I should have said human trials studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are asking, have they been human trial studied? And I think that we're just a newer company.
We are a newer company. And so the way it works, if you do research the right way, the first thing that you do is you do clinical studies on human cells to make sure that everything's looking good that way. And then if everything's looking good there, you will move on to human clinical trials. I should say though, a lot of studies that you want to do, it's hard to do on humans. Like our epigenetic clinical study. That's hard to do on humans. And a lot of people will think it's the stigma that cell culture, human trials aren't as good as human clinical studies, and that's not true. It depends on what you're trying to look at. If you're trying to look at how something works and the way in which it works, a cell culture study is the best way to go. And that's just as powerful or even more powerful than human studies.
Okay.
And so we're doing both. We are looking at doing some human studies, and we're in the process of getting those together. But we work on doing both.
Okay. Do you have a certain product that you do first?
We're looking at Revive.
Yeah, I was going to say Revive would be a great one.
Yeah, we're looking at Revive. We're looking at Purify as well. those are two.
I love those products. Okay, so I mean, obviously, you know, our company is definitely disruptive. Do you feel like, or do we have some really cool innovation coming? Anything you can share with us?
Yeah, so unique innovation. I want to talk about innovation that we just launched to give people an idea of what we're working on. So we just launched a skincare line, and we launched a cleanser, a toner, and a serum. And this skincare line is the world's first neurocosmetic line. And that's freaking cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
So, some of the times, if you Google and you type in neurocosmetic, some companies are using that term as a marketing term, meaning that if I put something on my skin, it feels cooling or tingling or something like that. But when we say neurocosmetic, what we've done is we have molecules that we've discovered from the Mojave Desert in California and other places around the world that when you put it on the surface of the skin, it produces neurotransmitters in the brain. So it activates what's called the skin-brain connection. And this is powerful. You put something on your skin and it increases amounts of serotonin, dopamine, DHEA, and the studies that we've conducted. So this is clinically validated as well. And we are in the process of running a human clinical on this as well. But the results that we're hearing, where people have better mood, better productivity, they're sleeping better by taking this product. So I mention that because this is brand new technology, and it really highlights who we are and what we do. We have new technology that no one else has used. Neurocosmetic, right? That's just crazy to think that you can do that. And so we have some other really interesting technologies in the realm of skincare neurocosmetic that we are in the process of working on. So stay tuned for that. We have like 30 different projects in development.
Oh, wow.
You know, so you think about what are the general need states for the body. Well, we want to sleep better. We want to think better. We want to have more natural energy. Gut health is super important. All of those areas we're actively working on and pursuing.
Yeah, and when you have a new project, you said 30, that's a lot, right?
Yes.
And, you know, I hear you sometimes talking about how many times that you go back to the kitchen.
Yes.
You know, over 40 iterations on some of our products or maybe more.
Yes.
Maybe talk about that because I think it's important. It's not one and done, you know, like throw it in a frying pan and then here you go and serve it. Like you're really making sure that you're curating something so beautiful. So I would love for you just to share a little bit of your heart and why you do that and your vision in that area.
When most people in our space develop a product, I use air quotes when I say develop, because what they do is they call up a manufacturer and they say, hey, we want to create an energy product. We want to launch an energy product. And so a manufacturer, they already have a formula for an energy product. And the thing about that though, is they're selling this energy formulation to 5, 10, 20, 40 other companies that they make products for. And so if I just grab an off-the-shelf turnkey energy product, there's nothing unique about it.
Right.
There's no unique science. It's cheap
because
a
that
manufacturer
white labeled, right?
White labeling, yeah. So it's called turnkey, where the manufacturer just, you know, they already know how to do it. They make it, and it's also called white label because you just create your label, you slap it on, and voila, you have a product. Isn't that crazy?
I'm a formula.
Yeah. And now we have a formula, and now we're a formulator, right? Versus what happens with the process that we go through. It's part of what we call our curated process, where we painstakingly source every ingredient. A lot of the ingredients are unique only to us because we've discovered those molecules, and we put that together in a mix and match process, and it takes a long time. You know, so it's the difference between going through a drive-through and getting a number one versus going to a restaurant where you get a curated meal from a Michelin star chef.
Yeah. Right,
where she's using this crazy mushroom from the southern of France, and she's using then this weird crazy thing from the Himalayan highlands, right? And putting it together, and it creates just this amazing, unique symphony in your mouth, right? Something that is just so unique that you've never tasted before in your life. That's the approach that we take when we formulate. It's this Michelin star curated approach. It's this molecular approach. Back to molecules. Most people, they could care less about molecules. They just, you know, the ingredient, quercetin or I don't know, raspberry powder or whatnot, right? That's just top of my head, the first thing I thought about. We could care less about raspberry powder.
Right.
What we care about is the flavonols in raspberry, right? So that's the approach that we take. And when you do that, when you start from scratch, you do need to go through a lot of different iterations. One project that I'm working on right now, when I go home tomorrow, I'm going directly to the lab, and we are on iteration 16 with that.
Wow.
And we're still not quite
I can't
there.
wait. Are you want to share anything with us? Come on.
Yeah, I better not.
Okay,
I better
okay.
not.
Well,
But
obviously all your due diligence has paid off. I mean, for my husband and I, for us to, join this company 2 years ago and tell about 50 people and turn to over 75,000 people in the organization buying the products, you're doing a really good job. And we're attracting a lot of really great, phenomenal, high sum of influence medical professionals as well. We have an advisory board. So I'd love for you to talk about that, because you have a great team of some really, really amazing doctors from Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, some really well-trained, I think some from the Michigan State, right?
Yep.
So maybe talk a little about that, because not every company has that. And these are not paid. These are people who are volunteering their time. So you have a group that really kind of help you with these things too, right?
That's right. Our scientific advisory board definitely is one of the things that differentiates us from other companies. And these are amazing medical professionals. Like you said, they're not paid. The reason why they're joining us is they love the science. They love what we're doing. We're doing something unique and powerful. And most medical professionals, the reason why they got into that profession in the first place is they want to help benefit humanity, humankind. That's, they have a servant's heart, and they want to help and bless other people's lives. And so when they see what we're doing, and when they see the unique way in which we're doing it, they want to be a part of that. And these are, like you said, they train from the best places: Johns Hopkins, Mayo, University of Michigan, University of Washington, all over France. They've trained all around the world. And so because of that, they have a unique, powerful mindset. When most supplement companies, we're talking about, how most supplement companies get their products white labeled. Most supplement companies, when they're about to launch, they're like, oh my gosh, we need to have a board, right? And so they just ask their neighbor, right? Hey, neighbor, you're a dentist. Will you be on my board or whatnot, right? But we have scoured the world looking for the best people.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's such a beautiful time to be part of this movement, because 3 isn't just a company. I really do feel like it's a movement. And I have seen just in, I am medical as well. I'm a registered nurse by trade. And, just from the different areas that I've worked, I have a lot of connection with medical professionals. And it's beautiful seeing that we're moving from that Western medicine field to more that holistic naturopathic approach. And that PDR does so much for those internal medicine doctors that are just so used to going to more pharmaceuticals. They're open because, the PDR is like their Bible, right? And if it's in the Bible, it's good. And there's, just this transition that's happening so smoothly because they feel comfortable because it's in that PDR. So I think that right there has been such a game changer for our company. And I just, from my heart to yours, I am so thankful that you formulate those type of products that not just one, but all of them are in there. And I'm pretty sure everyone that you put out will be there as well. So Thank you for that. And I know a lot of people's health have been really impacted by you. I know my family has a phenomenal testimony. So you're doing such great in the world. So what you dreamed about since you were, 5th grade, right? When you dressed up.
Second grade.
Second grade, okay, or whatever. What you've dreamed about is definitely coming to pass. So I want to wrap this up because I don't want to take too much of your time. But, I think just leaving the audience, is there anything that maybe that's on your heart that you would like to share that maybe I did not cover today?
What I would share is that human health is one of the most important things. I would argue it's the most important thing that we could have in this life. It doesn't matter how much money we have, how many followers on Instagram, our connections, beautiful home, these sorts of things, if our health is poor. And human health is at a crisis point. There's so many things that are just swirling around as this perfect storm that's causing our health to diminish and to degrade. And so what I would say is that health is something that we need to take seriously. And for me, this is my life mission. This is my goal. My goal is to make sure that every 8 billion people on the planet have an opportunity to be healthy. And I firmly believe that the products we have, our 6 nutritional and our 3 skincare products, they are the answer to being healthier. And so I encourage everybody to try our products, to use our products. If you like our products, to share them with others. One thing I'll mention real quick, you mentioned medical professionals. I'm astounded of the thousands of medical professionals that are joining us.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're joining us is they're seeing the legit science that we're doing.
Absolutely.
The other thing I would say with medical professionals, I've talked with a lot of them over the past couple of months. I've been in their offices and they have people coming to them all the time saying, hey, what about this supplement? What about that supplement? What about this supplement? They don't have time to review everything. And so something that a medical professional showed me, and he told me, he said, well, the reason why I use your products in my office is because I know that they're good. They're in the PDR. I looked at them. I studied them. I read all the clinical studies. And so when people come into my office and they're holding something else, I say, well, I don't know about that, but I know about this.
That's right.
I've studied this and this is good. So if you want to take a supplement, you should use this. So again, in conclusion, I love what I do. I love science. I encourage people to trust me. I left my job in pharmaceutics. People thought I was crazy to leave that. I had a great job. Everything was good. My wife and my children were comfortable. It was a comfortable living.
Right.
And I chose to go out on the unknown to come to this area that a lot of people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I love what I'm doing here. We have the opportunity to change billions of people's lives with this. And
and you're doing that.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I just encourage you guys, even if you're in a position right now where you feel like you're healthy and you feel good, there's never a ceiling on health. I feel like there's always another level. I mean, right now I'm in my mid 40s and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And it's about just taking, better supplementation and understanding what's out there. There are so many supplements like we talked about, but at the end of the day, that's the flip phone. We have the iPhone 16 Pro Max. There's just more technology. So, share this with people you love, people that are not feeling good, that people that are just, hopeless in their health, because I can tell you cellular absorption matters. Maximizing efficiency matters. And, getting this out there and advocating for others is what we live for. So thank you so much for joining us today. I had so much fun with you. And I wish I was taking notes because I've learned so much, but great, I can play this back. So thank you again for joining us. And you guys, you have a great day.